welcome along to the final whistle. I'm Kenzie Benali.
And I'm Steve Forbes.
Well, that was certainly an entertaining afternoon here at St Mary's Stadium and a very valuable 3 points for Southampton. Dean Hammond and Joe Prince-Wright are back with us to discuss that one. Two very happy faces there, which is good to see. Now, the last time we trailed by 2 goals in the Premier League and went on to win was back in March 2016. Dean, did you enjoy that one?
I did. I enjoyed obviously the result. It was very, very entertaining. Got my prediction totally wrong. That it's going to be a close game and there wouldn't be much in it. Very, very open game. And Burnley started very, very well, I must admit. And Leicester looked a little bit flat, to be honest, to start with. Couldn't quite get into second gear, and Burnley were on the front foot. And definitely a penalty. I think a little bit of a lazy challenge from Cole Walker-Peters. Potentially could have been a foul on him, but I think it was a penalty. And the second goal, very, very direct. We expect that from Burnley, and it was a good finish. But the reaction from Southampton was fantastic. It really, really was. And watching the game, I was thinking if we can get 1 goal back before half-time, then we can really come out of the second half and put Burnley under pressure. To get 2, both really, really good finishes, build-up play, and then an individual goal from Danny Ings, which was fantastic. And then second half again, I think the first 10, 15 minutes was flat again from both teams. And then Southampton really came good towards the middle part of the second half, played some really good attacking play, created opportunities. The Burnley goalkeeper made some fantastic saves, and great to see Nathan Redmond score again. So the changes worked for the manager. There was good intensity. But I think just the most important thing, it's a brilliant result. It's a home win. I don't think it's been a home win for the last 3 months, I think, since we beat Liverpool. So that's a huge result in terms of the league. And it will do the players' confidence a world of good and puts us in a much stronger position, 10 points clear of the relegation zone, with a really, really good game next week against West Brom.
Yeah, most definitely. It really does feel like there are so many positives to take from today, Joe. What did you make of that performance?
Brilliant comeback. A sloppy start, you can maybe say it's happened to a few teams after the international break, and a few players has shaken off a little bit of the rust. But yeah, brilliant display up top. I think a lot of the talk before the game was about who was playing up top, the front four, were the selections correct? I think Ralph got the selections spot on, because Armstrong was brilliant, took his goal really well. Danny Ings, sensational, great return from injury for him with the assist, the goal. And involved in the third one as well. Theo Walcott, I thought, was really good, aside from just the final finish here and there. And Nathan Redmond, obviously, building from that incredible performance against Bournemouth. So a lot of positives to take. Southampton now kind of, as we said previously, giving themselves a little bit of a cushion going into these final 8 games of the season. Can focus on the cup now as well, which is very nice indeed. And yeah, like Dean and I said before the game, this is always going to be a very tight game against Burnley. It wasn't what we expected, though. It was really open, attacking, entertaining. And what I liked late in the game, Saints managed the situation pretty well. Aside from a couple of dangerous crosses that came into the box, Mohamed Salisu came on, shored things up a little bit. And if we're all being honest, it should have been a more comfortable win at the end, because there were some great opportunities on the counter. Saints couldn't quite put that away. But most important thing was to win. And now we can finally say, I think, that relegation is not really going to happen this season. So that's always a good thing.
Definitely, Joe. Well, sticking with yourself, the first was very much a half of 2 halves, as it were. Let's start from the beginning. Did you have any complaints about the penalty that was awarded to Burnley?
Seeing the replay slightly, but it was a bad tackle. Bad tackle from Kyle Walker-Peters. The push on him from Eric Peters was just one of those things. I'm sure Dean would agree that in the run of play, you kind of have those little tussles on and off the ball. I didn't see a lot in that, to be honest. So I think it was the correct decision. And you were fearing the worst there with an early penalty kick to Burnley. And of course, they went 2-0 up. But a great response from Saints, great resilience. And that hasn't always been the case this season. So that was another major positive. But yeah, it was a penalty for me.
Dean, Burnley's second goal seemed to put them in command. Will Fraser forced to be disappointed with that, or did the early shot simply take him by surprise?
Yeah, I think the early shot, I think the power in the shot as well caught him by surprise. If you look at it in slow motion, yes, it looks like he could get his right foot to it and potentially save it. But I think in real live time that the strike is such an early strike, and the ball moves, and there's a lot of power in it. So I'm not so sure. I think Fraser would look at it and think you can always do better. Players will evaluate their performances and obviously think he believed that he would be able to save it. But I don't think there's any blame there, to be honest. I think it was just the confusion between the two centre-halves, if I'm honest. Bednarek and Vestergaard, they got it the wrong way round. Bednarek actually challenged for the ball, and because he did that, it left Vydra free. He challenged with Wood when actually Vestergaard should have moved across sidewards, and then Bednarek could have gone with a free run of Vydra. So there was just a little bit of miscommunication. And to be fair to Burnley, I think Wood caused the two centre-halves a lot of problems today in that physical battle. And until the last 20 minutes, when Southampton had to really defend their box and win a lot of headers and make a lot of blocks, I think the two centre-halves had a really tough afternoon, but performed very well in the last 20 minutes to not allow Burnley to equalise. But yeah, I think it was just a good strike, a good early strike with some movement on the ball with pace that just caught Fraser off guard. So no blame there from my point of view.
Well, the turnaround started soon after that, and some lovely play saw Stuart Armstrong make it 2-1. Joe, do you want to talk us through his goal?
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, great patient build-up play. Big Yannick Vestergaard came forward, and when he started to do that, it caused Burnley some problems because there was an extra man in midfield for them to mark there. So that allowed James Ward-Prowse to get on the ball, pick out Danny Ings, and then that's what Danny Ings brings, a lovely flick, kind of just moment of genius around the corner. And Stuart Armstrong, what I love about him, a lot of his goals are he takes the shot really quickly, so the goalkeeper doesn't have any time to set themselves at all. And Nick Pope was already beat, and the ball was already past him before he didn't really react. So a great goal. And all three of the goals for Saints today were tremendous. And that's kind of a theme throughout the season. I mean, it's quite rare that Saints score tap-ins at the moment. They're, volleys going in from all over the place. And it's great to see that quality when it does click in the final third. And that first goal summed up the movement and kind of the fluid nature and that rhythm of the team really started to click back in, I think, after that first goal and after the first 20 minutes, which was a very slow start. So, yeah, great goal. And then that kind of set the tone for the comeback.
Yeah, it did. Well, let's take a look at what's being said on social media then. Plenty of comments coming in from the fans. Lots of you buzzing with that result. Peter said the rollercoaster ride of supporting Saints. Yeah, it was a bit of a rollercoaster, wasn't it? Thomas says best game of the season. He's impressed. Dean, hello to you. He says took half an hour to wake up, but then outclassed Burnley. Come on, you Reds. And Rosemary's left us this comment. She says chocolate eggs, large glass of wine, sunshine, and a Saints win. Perfect day. You enjoy, Rosemary. That does sound lovely. Dean, back to you then. Let's talk about Danny Ings, shall we? He's obviously been out injured for the last month. You certainly wouldn't have known from that finish. What a goal.
He looked very, very sharp. He looked like very, very fit. I think obviously they've been working very hard on training, and maybe there's been a few niggles for Danny when he's been playing late before the injury, and that's why the injury occurred, because he looked very, very sharp today. The anticipation from the mistake from Ben Mee was good. He was in full flow very, very quickly. And then it's just the composure. I think as watching on the TV, we're all thinking he's definitely going to check here, but it's hard at in live speed. But he checks back so calm, so composed. And then to have the vision to kind of put it through Nick Pope's legs, it's a brilliant finish, because anywhere else in the goal, I think Nick Pope saves it because he makes himself very, very big. So the timing of the goal, the timing of the check, the timing of the finish, is brilliant. He looked sharp all day. Joe mentioned with the assist, the round the corner to Armstrong is brilliant. His awareness is back, and he looked like he wanted to perform today. He wanted to score. The strike he had for the third goal, a really, really good save from Nick Pope, and then Walcott obviously put it back across the goal for Nathan Redmond. He looked sharp. He looked really good, and he looked hungry for goals, which is good, because I think in between the two injuries and the illness, I don't think it's quite been there every game for Danny. But he looked back to his best today.
Well, Nathan Redmond bagged himself another goal today too. That's 3 in 2 games for him, Joe, and it certainly wasn't an easy finish this time out.
It really wasn't. Did so well to keep it down. He had a lot of time to kind of think about it as the ball came over from Walcott. So great technique. We know he's got that in his locker. That's maybe the one criticism of Nathan over the years, that he gets into some great positions but just doesn't quite score enough or assist enough in that final moment when it really matters. But yeah, the confidence from that FA Cup win and the 2 great goals he scored down at Bournemouth flowing through him. And of course, now it gives Ralph another selection headache because he started up front centrally, played really well, drifted out wide, and it seems to work in that four there. Like I said before the game, Walcott, Ings, Armstrong, and Redmond, the balance, the creativity, the power, the pace that quartet gives Saints probably is their strongest lineup in the attacking areas. And then you have, the likes of Shea Adams, Minamino, Nathan Teller on the bench, which is, and Gineppo as well. So all of a sudden you have a wealth of options, which is great for Southampton, especially to kind of rotate things maybe in the next few weeks. But yeah, Nathan Redmond, hats off to him. He's had a tough season. He's admitted that, but he's really back on track, and it was great to see him get the winner, and a deserved win for Saints. I think the quality of the goals underlined the quality of this performance.
Yeah, they really did. And I'm going to bring the fans back into the mix now. Lots of them joining the conversation. Ryan said he's so happy. What a way to celebrate Easter. Lovely way to spend the Sunday. Saxon Axe on Facebook said, big 3 points today. Jamie, thanks for this one. He says, great to see that win on the South Coast. Trisha on Facebook has said, well done from Scotland. And Michael's got in touch as well. He says, good shift and a much needed 3 points. Dean, back to the game then. James Ward-Prowse really couldn't have come any closer to scoring, could he? There were so many chances in the second half. It easily could have been more, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could. I think the attacking performance in that last 20 minutes of the second half was brilliant. And what a strike from James Ward-Prowse. He had a lot of time to think about that, really put his foot through it, and great strike. I don't think Nick Pope got a touch on it. You expect it to hit the bar and go in. Unfortunately, it came back down and was cleared. But no, Southampton created some great opportunities in the second half. Shea Adams, one at the end, one-on-one. I think he had too much time to think. We've mentioned it before with Shea. He needs to be instinctive. I think he had too much time to think about the finish. Theo Walcott, when he span and his left foot and maybe could have set Nathan Redmond or Danny Ings at the far post, there was a chance there. Walcott's break again when he couldn't quite get the shot off. So loads of opportunities, and the players, like Joe mentioned, I think between them four, the movement's very, very good. The understanding's very, very good for them. And I think they come into little pockets where Stuart Armstrong comes narrow, Nathan Redmond can come narrow, Danny Ings pulls wide to the left, and you see him, he likes to cut in and try and curl it in the far post. So lots of chances in the second half. And I agree, it was a deserved win from Southampton and a brilliant reaction to the disappointment of going 2-0 down.
Joe, how do you think Saints did defensively today? Because Burnley were throwing a lot at them at the end.
Did well, obviously, at the end of the game, but the start will be concerning. You can't concede goals like that, and you're not going to come back from 2-0 down every week to win games. So that's something that needs to be addressed. But like I said earlier, I think it was maybe just whether it's just been switched off after the international break, for whatever reason, it just was a sloppy start. Generally, defensively, thought we did okay, but it's not easy playing against Burnley, Chris Wood, Vidra buzzing around, a lot of balls swinging into the box, aerial challenges. And I think Saints did okay defensively. That's still an area where I think they can improve. But it's getting there. It's getting there. And, seeing the manager's reaction after the game, he said, they could have scored 5 or 6 goals against a team that doesn't really give up a lot of chances. So that's the main positive for Saints today, that they showed they can create a lot of chances against a usually solid team. So maybe attack is the best form of defence for Southampton for the rest of the season, and that will be very entertaining for all of us one way or another, I'm sure.
Well, Dean, it was, of course, a huge 3 points, but how much can a result like this, coming from behind, help with confidence amongst the side?
I think it's gaining that home win again as well, which is really, really important. I think it's continuing on from a really good result in the FA Cup. The 3 points is massive, it really is. And we've mentioned this season on a few occasions, Southampton have not quite reacted to disappointment as well as they probably could have done. And today they really did. They performed very, very well. If you take that isolated 20 minutes out of the first half, they were very, very dominant, create some great chances. So there'll be a lot of confidence in that dressing room, and it just gets them a little bit closer to being safe. I think that's 10 points clear the relegation zone now. If results can go for us over the next couple of days, that will be very, very good. And then next week away at West Brom, unfortunately, they got a brilliant result yesterday, so their tails will be up as well. But within that dressing room, there'll be some real belief now. And one of the biggest things will be the players returning. The squad is a lot bigger now. There's much more competition for places. And I think in the forward areas, Southampton can cause any team problems, especially with the 4 that are on the pitch today. Their movement's very, very good, and the intensity of their movement's good. And when you've got players like Shea that can come on, Teller that can come on, Minamino that we've not even mentioned today to come on, there's some real talent there. So if Southampton, like Joe mentioned, there's a little bit of a frailty defensively. If you've got them sort of players, then you can always score 1 or 2 or 3 goals a game. So yeah, really, really good for the confidence.
Well, looking ahead to our next game, which is West Brom away a week on Monday. Joe, what are your early thoughts ahead of that one?
Could be 7-all, 6-all. Who knows? I mean, it's going to be a pretty wild one, I think. I think both teams, Saints now, the pressure's slightly off, so that's good for them going into the game. For West Brom in their situation where they're scrapping for their lives in the relegation zone, they need to come out and attack, which I think does help Saints as well in this kind of situation. So it will be interesting. I think it's, like Dean said, not a great time to play them, but I'd fancy Saints to go there and get a win and then build confidence and get the positivity going ahead of that FA Cup semi-final against Leicester. So, I think it's a good game for Saints tactically, and it kind of matches up well. That West Brom have to come out and attack, be that from the start or maybe from the last 30 minutes onwards. So we've seen enough from Saints now to suggest they're back to their best, and that attacking 4, I think, will give any defence in the Premier League a lot of problems.
Yeah, definitely. West Brom pulled out a real surprise result yesterday, Dean, and it's been highlighted. Do you think it'll be a more open game then next time?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think it'll be very similar today. I think West Brom set up very similar to Burnley. They'll try and get a lot of crosses in the box. Sam Allardyce is a manager that works on percentages defensively and attacking wise. He's very good with the stats, so he'll like to get a lot of crosses in the box, make Southampton defend, and he knows they need to win. The result yesterday has probably inspired them a bit, thinking they've got half a chance of getting out of trouble. I don't think they will, but next week I think it's a really important game for both teams, and I think if Southampton can win, it will keep them safe 100%. And if they win, obviously West Brom, I think, will be pretty much down. So it's a big game. And like Joe mentioned, if West Brom are trying to win the game and not just defensively trying to get a point, it could help Southampton because it will leave spaces for the attacking players. And that's what they like, getting in between the lines, having a little bit of space to run at the back 4. And defensively, West Brom are not the best. That's why they're near the bottom of the league. So look, my prediction was totally wrong today. So it'll probably be a 0-0 draw, but it could be. It could be, like Joe's mentioned, there could be some goals next week, which will be great to watch.
Great stuff. Well, thank you very much, Dean and Joe, for all your contributions today on Saints Live and the Final Whistle. It wasn't the tight and cagey affair that we were predicting beforehand, but it certainly was entertaining and a great 3 points for the Saints today. We'll be back with you a week on Monday on the 12th of April. It's a 6 p.m. kickoff for the West Brom game, so we'll be with you from 4:45. Enjoy the rest of your Easter weekend, and we'll see you then.